this was published in... Every time I start to talk, Sash is like...
Fuck you.
Loud noises!
I dropped this now.
Hey, it's Sue.
And Megan,
The Spine Breakers. And today we're doing the Over 30 book tag.
Yes.
Which was created by Ink Not Blood. And we were not tagged by anyone. I just saw it and
thought, we're over 30?
Yep.
We about
sure
old as shit.
Yeah, but she created this tag, you know, for booktubers over 30 because I feel like we don't fit in a little.
We're a bit on the fringes of the normal.
You know?
Yeah.
So it can feel a little
scary out there for a
little rainbow pigtails.
Little rainbow piggy.
We're over 30. And also we're drinking some very grown-up drinks.
Yeah.
We're having some frou-frou beers.
Frou-frou beers. I had some friends over and one of them brought like just an ass ton of what she referred to as cheer beer. And so now my fridge is full of it.
Yeah.
So we thought, fuck it.
Yeah. So this is Seagram's Escapes Blueberry Acai Lemonade.
Yeah.
So let's try it. It smells good.
It smells good.
I mean, it's tasty.
Not too shabs.
Tastes like blueberry lemonade to me.
Yep.
So it's good. This is like, these kind of drinks, I like the taste of them, but they start to make my stomach hurt quickly.
They make my belly hurting.
They're just too sugary.
Too sugary and carbonated.
Yeah, and it's like the carbonation plus the sugar plus the alcohol is a bad combination in my tummy.
Same. Makes me icky.
Because I can't drink like, drink alcohol mixed with soda, like whiskey and Coke or rum and Coke.
Hurts my belly box.
Hurts my stomach real bad. Alright, so this tag is pretty short and sweet, so let's get to it.
Let's do it to it. So the first question is, name one of your favorite books that features a protagonist who is 30 years old or older.
So I went with Wool by Hugh Howey, the whole series actually, the Silo trilogy. Juliet, who is pretty much the main character, I would say. There's kind of a few main characters, but I'd say she's the main character. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure she's in her 30s. I think every other main character is over 30 as well.
I think so.
So any characters really,
but that grown as shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that it says at one point that Juliet is in her 30s though.
I went real over 30 with Old Man's War by John Scalzi. Scalzi? I don't know.
I've always heard it Scalzi, but I don't know. That's just how I've heard other people say it.
Scalzi works for me. But yeah, the characters in this book are all over like 60 or 70, I think.
Sasha's gnawing on a rawhide over there, so that's the...
My house is chaos. Yeah, like, I don't know.
Weird squeaky noise you might hear.
Yeah.
So question 2 is name a book that represents who you were when you were younger.
I chose 1984 by George Orwell for this because this was one of my favorite books. It still kind of is, but it was definitely my favorite book when I was in high school. And I think, like, I kind of saw myself as, like, I mean, I was a total emo kid, but, like, I saw myself as being, like, going against the grain and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And,
I'm a rebel, Daddy.
I'm a rebel. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I still do love this book, but I feel like it was kind of integral to who I was in high school, and it did kind of help shape my love of dystopian novels. So it was a bit formative, but yeah.
And I went with Shop Girl by Steve Martin because I first read this book when I was in my early 20s, I think. I'm not sure how old I was, might have been late teens, but I really loved it. And it is by, you know, the actor and comedian Steve Martin. And there's a movie also that pretty much follows the book exactly. But I loved this when I was around that age. And I think at the time I identified with the main character a lot because, just kind of because of where she was in life. I wouldn't say that my situation was exactly the same as hers, but it was pretty similar because she's kind of stuck in a rut, I would say, and she's like trying to figure out who she is, kind of, and also she's like in love with this older man, which this wasn't my exact situation at the time, but she's in love with this older man, and he's not in love with her. Like, he just wants like a casual relationship. And so she's learning a lot about relationships and just trying to be happy, kind of.
Trying to figure out life.
Yeah, and I thought, I haven't read it in many years, so maybe if I read it now, I would think differently. I don't know. But at the time that I read it, I thought Steve Martin did like a great job of writing a female character also. So I was really impressed with that. But looking back now, I feel like if I read it now, I might think it was kind of pretentious, but I don't know.
Name a book that represents where you are in your life now.
My answer is probably going to be pretty depressing.
Okay.
Just to warn you. I picked Romy Fudge from the new and improved Romy Fudge because I feel like, once again, or maybe still, I feel like I'm kind of in a rut. And in this book, he's kind of hit rock bottom, which I don't think I'm there. But I'm definitely kind of been on the decline for a while now, and he's looking for something to like get him out of that spot. So, you know, I'm probably not gonna go participate in a, you know, experimental study and have a bunch of knowledge implanted into my brain, although I wouldn't be opposed.
But you could. Yeah, I mean, you probably could.
But I'm just kind of at a point in my life where I'm like, I need to
do something.
I need to change some things in my life, or I will end up at rock bottom.
Wow. I chose Difficult Women by Roxane Gay because I'm difficult. But also because this is about a lot of really diverse women. They're short stories. It's like a compilation of short stories about just a large variety of women. And I think that like where I am now in my life is a very different place than I was when I was younger. Because I think when I was younger, I was a lot more insecure and not as much of like an ally to women as I aspire to be now. And so I think like I've also kind of grown in confidence and become a lot more passionate about like feminist shit. And so I think this book kind of represents that. And then also like the characters in this book, like I said, are really diverse and, you know, in different spots in their lives, and they're all like complex and flawed, and
yeah,
you know, and so am I, and I'm not always likable, and I have my shit. So I think that,
and I think probably every woman could find something to identify with in there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Question 4 is name a book that represents something that has never changed about you.
I chose The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón because this book talks a lot about like the love of reading and the love of books, and I've always been a reader. From the time I was little, I used to memorize books, and I've always had my nose stuck in a book, so that's something that kind of got put on pause when I was in college, but has never changed.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, so.
And I said Alice from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I think the one thing about Alice that is similar to me and has never changed in me is her curiosity. As a kid, I totally would have followed a rabbit into a hole. I totally would. My mom used to have to keep a close eye on me when I was outside playing in the yard because I would follow our dog out into the woods. So,
Susan, no.
Yeah. I think I've just always kept that curiosity of like, I'm always looking shit up. Like if I'm like, just a weird thought comes in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna Google that. And I read about just random shit that I'm curious about. And also I'm that person that if my doorbell rings and I'm not expecting someone, I always answer the door because I want to know who the fuck is at my house.
Whereas like I hide. I'm like, nah, I'm not home.
And so I'm probably gonna get murdered someday. And also like, I kind of stopped now because I started getting a lot of spam phone calls, but I used to always answer my phone. Every time it rang, even if I didn't recognize the number, I answered it because the curiosity killed me of not knowing who was calling me if they didn't leave a message. I'd be like, who the fuck was it?
What is it?
Which now I get spam shit all the time, so I'm like, ugh. But yeah, I can't live with not knowing.
Not knowing.
Like, who's at my fucking door? I would be that girl in the Scary Movie who got killed.
I would be the crusty old hermit because I never answer my door or my phone. So
yeah. You'd be also in a horror movie, but you'd be like that witch that lives down the street.
Yeah, I'd be like the crazy asshole witch. That'd be me. Name one of your favorite classics.
I went with The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. I read this in college. I believe I had to read it for a class, for a literature class. And I just really loved it. It's about a young woman who kind of sabotages herself. She's really concerned with, you know, being rich and being in high society, but she ends up ruining herself, basically.
Just fucking it all up.
Alert.
Womp womp.
Yeah, and I really liked it.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I reached way back and I chose The Essential Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe because I still do love me some Poe. I mean, high school Megan adored her some Poe because, again, emo kid. I still do have a fond appreciation for Edgar Allan Poe. So, in this, I remember I've had this particular copy for like fucking ever. And I remember just like,
I had a little collection of his poetry when I was in high school that I would read over and over and over again.
just loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was super into it.
All right, and the last question, number 6, is name a book you like or would like to read that was published in the year you were born.
I went with a book that I would like to read, and I have not read it yet, which is The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. I know it's a sequel, so I'd like to read the first book in the series first, but I love this movie, so I really want to read the book.
And I went with a book that I already have read and loved, and that is Beloved by Toni Morrison. So this was published in 1987, which is the year I was born. And it's an amazing book. So that's it.
Those are the questions. I think rather than tagging specific people, let's just tag anybody watching this who's over 30.
I was going to say the same, because I'm like, I don't want to assume someone's over 30 and then be like, I'm 29, bitch.
I'm fuck. Yeah, so if you are over 30 and you are watching this video, do this tag, y'all.
And this is actually quite delightful.
It's pretty good.
I really like it.
Yeah, it's kind of yummy.
But yeah, if I drank too many, I'd probably be bad news, but it's only 3.2% alcohol, though.
Yeah, it's a baby beer.
Yeah.
Baby beer.
So, you know, if you're not into regular beer, this blueberry acai lemonade is pretty tasty.
It's pretty yummy.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching.
See you later.
Bye.